Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.
An urgent message from President Trump demanding Nigeria stop the brutal murders of thousands of Christians in the country or face possible action from the Pentagon. He posted in part, quote, "The USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities." Paul Adamu is a Nigerian Christian who was kidnapped by Boko Haram 2 years ago. He joins us now. It's so wonderful to have you on the show. Please tell us what happened to you.
It was such a disheartening situation. 2 years ago, I was kidnapped by the dreaded Boko Haram along my way to the airport while I was traveling to Cameroon to meet some of my colleagues, and then I got kidnapped along the line, along the route.
And you were held for how long?
12 days.
Okay. And there are many people, especially young girls, who have been kidnapped by Boko Haram, put into forced marriages, forced conversions. They're still in captivity. The situation there is quite dire. You heard what President Trump has said. Here's what Nigeria's president has said in response. He said that the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality, nor does it take into consideration the consistent and sincere efforts of the government to safeguard freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians.
And just to give some context real quick as to what Boko Haram is, officially known as Jama'a al-Sunnah Idalawala, it's jihad. So it's jihad, a jihad group, sometimes referred to as its state name. Dalar Mussolini is a self-proclaimed jihadist militant group based in northeastern Nigeria. A lot of these kidnappings have been occurring.
What's it like to be a Christian in Nigeria?
First, I want to thank and applaud the United States of American President Donald Trump for designating Nigeria as a CPC, because this is one of the things that we have always wanted. For the message of the Nigerian president, that I think at this point, I will say that there is a time when propaganda has no appeal, where propaganda has lost an appeal. And this is actually the time, because whatever is happening in Nigeria at this moment, I would say that Nigeria is the worst place to be as a Christian, like the worst place in the whole of the world to be as a Christian, because we wake up every day with news of killings. Every day with news of massacring of Christians. It's totally a genocide that is happening here in Nigeria. There is nothing anybody will tell me, because I have been in here for as long as I know. I've been in these places where these attacks have taken place. I've seen women who are crying for the loss of their husbands. I've seen children who are crying for the loss of their parents. I've seen parents who are crying for the loss of their children. I've been to churches that have been burnt down. These are not things that I've heard from the news or someone telling me. This is something that I witnessed somewhere. I've been myself. I've witnessed where terrorism is at the highest point, where people are killed and slaughtered like chickens every day.
Paul, I don't have a lot of time left, but I just want to ask you one last question. How have you and other Christians kept the faith during this persecution?
We are grateful for the organization I work with, Irish Global, who have taken it upon themselves to care for these persecuted Christians by providing relief materials, emergency kits, and then also providing them with discipleship, where they are being told that despite all that is happening to them, Christ still loves them.
Paul?
Yeah. To be honest, man, that's the narrative of a Christian, right? Obviously, we know Jesus was persecuted, right? So, I mean, it's not anything to be seen as foreign, So it's a crazy time that we're living in. I mean, obviously, it's very savage in certain countries in Africa, not just Nigeria. But just to look up and to see more context, because I want to know, is like Nigeria more predominantly like, what is the predominant religion there? So it says that the violence attacks, that they're essentially Well, because essentially a lot of these militant groups are Islamic. But that's another thing about Islam, right? They take a stance of violence a lot of times, and I think, don't quote me on the Quran, but there's a lot of verses that pertain to slaughtering and killing if others aren't of similar beliefs. So obviously, a lot of these militant groups, these jihad groups that are Islamic, running rampant around here, just killing and persecuting Christians, right? The apostles were persecuted, right? Or Jesus's followers. So I think that's, it's odd enough to say that history repeats itself, but I think that's the narrative of a Christian, right? I think that once the truth, when there's an understood truth, it tends to be condemned. People always ask themselves, why is Christianity the most mocked religion? And my honest belief is because it's the truth. The enemy attacks it the hardest. So, peace, love, prosperity. Prayers out to Nigerians out there. Like my brother here mentioned, all we can do is keep the faith, man. I think that there's a bigger, even when people die, man, there's a bigger plan at hand. There's a bigger movement at hand. Whether it's, we got President Trump stepping in, or obviously God will have the final say. God will have the final judgment overall. So it's odd enough, or I guess it's off-putting in the sense that a lot of people will lose their faith during times like this, times to where things get very hard. Let's keep it honest. Sometimes people can't fathom maintaining faith because people always ask the question, why do bad things happen to good people? And the why behind the why, we can't as people always understand or explain that. But I think the nature of life is that's how it operates, right? People have free will. We live in a fallen world. People will make bad choices. Now, man has the choice to decide. And if man decides to kill, then people will get killed and murdered. It's that simple. So, I don't know. I do still understand and do still wholeheartedly believe that God's got a bigger plan at the end of the day. So whatever we see in this natural realm of reality, don't take that to heart and don't fully understand that as, I guess, a definition or some type of summary of who you holistically believe God is, because that's not the truth at all, man. Man is wicked. Man is wicked. And obviously we have the choice. We have free will. We have the choice to make our own decisions. So peace, love, prosperity, man. God bless. Prayers out to Nigeria and other countries in Africa that are struggling as well. And just for the globe, for people's mental capacity, mental health, and for people to just keep on and keep faith. So peace, love. God bless. We'll see y'all next time.